Good evening and welcome to the working session of Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. Tonight we have a few discussion points. First off is Mr. Thomas Page with sculpture of Bob Dylan. Mr. Page, welcome to the City Hibbing and Council, and the mic is yours.
Thank you very much, Mayor, council members. Thank you for having me, giving me an opportunity to express an idea, a concept, long in the making. My name is Tom Page. I live in Cohasset, the west end of Lake Pokegama, outside of Grand Rapids. I maintain a full-time art studio there, 1,500 square feet. I'm prolific. I work 7 days a week. That's what I've been born, raised to do. My education is in the arts. And my passion is in sculpture. Although I do paint, and the basic skill for all artists is to draw. So let me see where we go here. Oh, there we go. Cover that. Okay. These are some examples of my work. I've included some of the paintings because that's really how I spend most of my time. Sculpture is very expensive. It's a rich man's medium. So when I don't have a signed contract, I spend my time painting. Some more examples of my work. If you look at second down, second in, there's a bust. That's Dr. Peter Augrey. He was the first Nobel Prize winner that I sculpted. He was 19, I was 19. I sculpted him in the garage of my parents' house. He went on to win the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2003. I do religious commissions, I do figurative work, I do some sporting sculptures. Like I said, I work, it's what I do, and it is a wonderful life. Here we go. What I'm here to do tonight is to propose a Bob Dylan tribute to Hibbing. And this is cut off a little bit. So I think you have printed material. Let me read from mine. The purpose of the tribute is to give generations of people a place to find their inspiration and connect with one of the creative geniuses of all time. This is not idolatry. This is not a place where you go and bow. Nobody believes in that. I certainly don't believe in that, and I would not create something like that. But I do believe people deserve a place to go to connect with their inspiration. It's the reason Bob Dylan went to New York and reached out to Woody Guthrie to see his inspiration, to meet him before he passed away. Hopefully Bob will live on for centuries yet. But when he's no longer here, people will enjoy having a place to go to connect with the creative spirit. Okay, item number 6 is simply a list of everything that Bob Dylan has achieved. It includes music, literature, movie credits, social contributions, civil rights issues. He has released 40 studio albums, I think it's over 40, 600 total if you include all the bootleg albums, live albums and compilations. He won a Nobel Prize, Golden Globe Award, Academy Award, nominated or won 25 Grammy Awards, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Grammy Hall of Fame, Pulitzer Prize, Presidential Medal of Honor. The list is endless. So, what's missing? Bob Dylan is the most famous of all Minnesotans, full stop. And he grew up in Hibbing. It's an outstanding individual to come from any place, let alone a smaller town in northern Minnesota. Currently, Hibbing has a wall, plaque, chair, Dylan walkway in the home Dylan was raised in. So you might ask yourself, what's missing? Well, my proposal adds a quotation, face to the existing effort by adding a life-size sculpture. Connecting Bob Dylan and Hibbing through cultural tourism, it's an important phrase, would benefit the city financially. Cultural tourism is not just a catchphrase, but it's a very real thing. I will give you examples where people will travel to experience culture, whether it's a museum, whether it's a monument, whether it's a sculpture. Again, people like art, they like feeling connected to the creative effort. This cultural tourism would be profitable enough to pay for the sculpture. It would also present Hibbing as a member of a creative class of communities. And maybe getting behind on my slides. Allow me to regroup for a second. Okay. This tribute was created in 2021. It was a COVID project. What do you do when you can't go outside? You stay in your studio, which is where I am every single day anyways. And I was fortunate enough to have the resources to make the Bob Dylan sculpture. It took about a year to cast, and this represents the first one of a possible potential 6 to be placed globally. Speaking as an artist, this is standard where you edition something. It's hard to make a profit to pay for itself when you just make one. It's most practical when you edition them. So I will show you, there's the full size, a couple side profiles. This is made out of cast bronze. This will last 5,000 years. It'll last longer than that. They're very durable, indoors, outdoors. These are just a couple examples of the possible placement, and this is worthy of a further discussion because to maximize the cultural tourism part, you have to have a place where it will draw people, and what that means is that you're selling food, you're selling hotel rooms. I think they did a fine job with the monument at the high school, but it lacks the face. It lacks the physical image of Bob, and that's really what people want to connect to. Okay, the sculpture is around 1975, Bob Dylan in around 1975. I have done a lot of research into creativity, and everybody, whether you're Bob Dylan or Albert Einstein, you have a creative period in your life. Albert Einstein did very little after he was 30 years old except travel alongside beams of light trying to figure out their terminal speed. So I don't know what Bob Dylan thinks, but this puts him at about 1975, which I think was his genius period. It's during the, it's just before the Rolling Thunder tour, and let's see. Okay, if you really want to go back far enough, this project started in 2011 when I did a small maquette, which is a miniature. And it was not the one that you see here. It was attempted to be proposed to Hibbing. Hibbing was my first phone call. It was to a friend of my son's who had just had a child who was part of the Dylan organization, and we could not schedule a meeting for some reason. And that model morphed into a Kickstarter project. That project was 12.5 feet tall, very grand, plaques all the way around. and it was very expensive. And it raised a tremendous amount of money, but not enough to pay for the entire sculpture. So none of the money that was committed was taken, it was all returned. And I downsized the sculpture to the one that you see here today. I will close by just asking for your recommendations, your guidance, or possibly your interest in promoting the image and the creative spirit of Bob Dylan in the city of Hibbing.
Tom, I thank you for this presentation. A couple of questions for you. The Dylan group,
The Hibbing Dylan.
the Hibbing Dylan group, have you had an opportunity to reach out and talk with them?
The short answer is no. I've reached out to everybody that's been obvious, and that is one group that has not been on my radar.
Okay. The other thing I see, you said that is already a finished bronze sculpture.
In 2 hours, it could be bolted down in front of the
Okay,
city hall.
so that one is, you have your mold.
It
That
is
a
finished, it is done. Again, it was COVID.
Yes,
What else are you gonna do? You know, you're gonna
Okay.
make a sculpture in your studio.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other, and that's life size, you said, so that is
It's
scaled.
just a titch over life size.
Okay,
Yeah.
What's the value on that?
That's $60,000. And sounds like a lot of money, but it's blue-collar wages. This has been a 5-year project, 4-year project. Yeah, it's worth every penny of it. Again, I don't want to make numbers up. I don't want to put on a salesman's hat. But I truly believe that as cultural tourism, properly presented and promoted, you would make your money back in 12 months.
Mr. Mayor.
yes,
So I agree with what Mayor Hyduk is saying, you know, to reach out to the Hibbing Dylan group. They helped fundraise that money for what is at the school district, and then that group gifted it to the school district. So they might be able to help as far as raising those kind of charitable dollars to, of the value of the $60,000 for the statue. Where would you see it being in Hibbing?
Well, I think the real value here is if it is connected with a creative environment. And I'll be a little more specific. I visualize a green space. I visualize a group that promotes Dylan's legacy, his music, an annual event, and I think that with minimal promotion, there are a lot of VCBs, chambers, Visit North Minnesota magazines that will jump on this for free promotion, that you could develop something that would bring in people from not only in the state, but outside the state and outside the country to Hibbing. But it's not going to happen by itself, and it's not going to happen by just bolting it to the corner. It would require a little more effort than that. But again, nothing's for free, right?
Right. So I'd be happy to leave my contact information with you, because I might be able to give you some avenues where you might
Okay.
be able to
Okay.
help
I
you
would,
out there.
let me just, oh, this will take 30 seconds. Jimi Hendrix, he's out in Washington. Chet Atkins, there's Elvis. I think he looks more like a football player, but nonetheless, people go to these places. Who doesn't love Willie Nelson, right? This Leon Russell, he's down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the Fab Four, London, and this is salesmanship now. Don't be taken by it. But when you talk about cultural tourism, Mount Rushmore brings in 2.5 million people a year, and I don't know how many tourism dollars. So people do travel to see art, to be part of a creative experience, and Hibbing should just be dancing through the streets with the opportunity of connecting with Minnesota's most favorite son culturally. Anyways, I think everybody has one of these with a card on it. Councilperson Hoffman, did you say that you were going to contact me?
I will contact
Okay,
you.
okay,
Thank
very
you.
good. Any other questions?
Tom, what is your time frame? I mean, I see what you're trying, and that's why I asked, it is a finished product. So it's not a proposal
I
as
could
far as
have
this
it,
is
I
what
could
we
have
can
it here
do.
by midnight. Would be bolting it on the street under lights. But yeah, it's, and if anybody would like to, my studio's open. Come on over, take a look at it.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Yeah. Yes.
I got
Yes.
just a couple of different questions or a comment or two. Definitely, I love the statue itself. I love the 70s era that you have there, holding the guitar. It has a lot of depth to the artist's work, so great statue. One question, so you said your mold, you could make up to 6. So if we had one in Hibbing, where would the other 5 be?
Well, that is purely a matter of opportunity. Now, if you said you don't want to compete with one in Duluth, there are some options that can be factored in. You could have this is the first one, and there are, to my last research, no life-size bronzes like this of Dylan anywhere in the world. If Hibbing wanted one, we could factor in 3 years before, we'll say Duluth could have one. We could factor in a mileage radius that nobody else could have it. I mean, there are a lot of ways. I respect Duluth and Hibbing for obvious reasons. And I would like to have one in each. But I also understand that if you invest money in something, you don't want it to be usurped by somebody down the road. So I think that is a workaround that is doable.
Counselors, any other question? All right, Tom,
I thank you for your time.
thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
and beautiful work.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great presentation. At this time,
There you go.
At this time, I'd like to welcome up Marcy Splinter from the Chisholm Food Shelf. Good evening, Marcy.
Can I put my paper there? Is that okay? Hello, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you guys this evening. My name is Marcy Splinter, and I am the Chisholm Food Shelf Director, just about 10 years now. I wanted to give a face to the Hibbing community behind the Chisholm Food Shelf, and also just share some information. We've seen increase in usage over the years since I've been the director, and especially the last few years from the Hibbing community. So I just wanted to raise a little awareness and ask for some financial support. We have been serving anywhere from 216 to 283 houses a month lately. That is Chisholm Food Shelf, and I have a mobile food shelf program. So once a month I deliver to Buell, Kinney, and Side Lake. In Chisholm, I deliver to households there if they can't get in. I've had requests to deliver to Hibbing. I try and find somebody who's willing to be a middle person, just because the need is so high. I can't do that quite yet. We have an intake form when folks come in, and before last December, we had addresses, and we just started to see an increase in Hibbing. So 2 years ago, we started just to kind of track where, how much we're serving the community of Hibbing, so we could justify expanding our invitations for our holiday fundraiser to Hibbing community. And then this last year, it's definitely increased to consistently about 30% of who we serve at the Chisholm Food Shelf site on Thursdays comes from the Hibbing community. Now, last December, they changed the form, so it's just if you choose to give us your zip code. So that's the number that we know of. There's probably more that don't declare their zip code. So I just thought it was time to come to you guys, and I'm assuming that this reaches the community, and just give a little information. Our food budget has kind of fluctuated over the last few years, but last year we spent just about $43,000 on just food. The year before we had an increase, so it was $65,000. So that's something that has changed over the years. We hand out for sure 150,000 pounds of food. Our operation is choice shopping, so they take what they want and what they will use based off of their household size and recommendations. We also have like fresh produce and bakery, frozen meat products, and other like milk and eggs and stuff when it's accessible, so they can choose that too. So yeah, I just wanted to get it out there, and hopefully we can get some more Hibbing businesses to support Chisholm Food Shelf. Like I said, we've been sending out a request for our annual holiday meal. That is like once a year they get a bonus holiday meal. So this December, everybody that came to us received instant potatoes, instant stovetop stuffing, green beans, gravy, a ham, and pie. And many Hibbing businesses have jumped on board and supported us this last year. That was great, thank you. And so the city of Chisholm has been giving us donation for a few years. This year they gave us $2,500, so I just wanted to see if the city of Hibbing would be willing to give us an annual donation or biannual, if you guys see fit. But yeah, we definitely, over the last few years, have seen an increase in specific Hibbing residents that let us know that they're from Hibbing. So, yeah. We are a nonprofit. We do depend on local donations and grant funding. We receive from Minnesota Hunger Solutions, and if there's other grants that are appropriate for our program, Northland Foundation is another one that we've received for 2 years now. And then the St. Louis County CDBG, I've received in the past, and then last year we went through the process again, and we're going through the process again for next year. So that's how we operate, and a little bit about Chisholm Food Shelf. So the area that we serve is Chisholm, Vulcan, Buell, Kinney, Side Lake, Hibbing, anybody that comes through the door. But those are the key areas that we see. Yeah.
Marcy, I thank you for coming for us tonight, and for all you do for those in need, and I really appreciate you giving me the geographical area of who you cover and who you've supported. Would you be able to, just the numbers, could she send those to you, Candy, just so we can look at the numbers, just to
Yes.
make sure. And I think everybody in this room hears what you're saying. And you know, that even though you're the Chisholm Food Shelf, you're the regional Chisholm Food Shelf, is what I hear you say.
Yes.
And that you turn nobody away because of zip code or
Nope.
anything like that is really, I applaud you for that, so.
Well, it comes because we have guidelines that we have to follow.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
it's, that also is like, we can. TFAP
No.
says we can't,
Right.
but we wouldn't anyway.
But it's nice that you track that, and I do
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that you're getting support from Hibbing businesses.
Yes,
that
and we
is-
do appreciate the recent increase in that. And individual, we have definitely seen support from that. And I apologize for not having anything prepared. It's a busy season.
No, that's, I
You did a really
understand.
good job, yeah.
But collaboration and partnerships is the most efficient way to accomplish something.
Yeah.
And that's what you're asking for tonight.
Yes, and so I'll just email to the,
Yeah, she'll give you, yeah.
So,
All
Mayor,
right.
can
But
Mayor,
I thank you for coming before us, and
Jamie's got a
can I ask a
Yeah,
question quick?
yes.
I'm just curious, do you have any knowledge on why, like, is there an indicator that you can think of as to why people are going to Chisholm instead of just going to the Salvation Army?
from the reports of what we've heard, there's a couple reasons. It's not particularly user-friendly, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like the operation, hours of operation, or to get an appointment, isn't convenient. We do not operate under appointment. It's first come, first serve.
Okay.
We're there on Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And if they can't come during that time, we ask for, or I tell people I can make an appointment with them. So I think that's 3 days a week, my understanding, that they operate the food shelf, but getting an appointment is really difficult. And, yeah, I just think there's maybe some other things that, how people are treated.
Gotcha, okay. That's kind of what I'm looking for, so I have some experience there, I volunteered there a bit, and I used to be on the board there. And I was just curious what was happening, because we lost a lot of good volunteers in Hibbing that were running that operation, and now it's kind of left up to insufficient leadership, in my opinion, that's not really pulling the weight. So I'm wondering if maybe we need to reach out as a community and get more support for the Salvation Army, take some of the weight off Chisholm Food Shelf in the long run, because I just see the correlation there with the,
My also another experience would be getting a hold of somebody to make an appointment. So we were told to let people know to come and make an appointment, and then, it's 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah.
And I think for folks in need,
It's a long time
to
to go without
get
food,
there, well, and to get there sometimes is a burden.
yeah.
And then to be turned away, maybe they get a little bit. Yeah, I only know what I hear.
Okay,
And, yeah,
okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
yeah. thank
might I
you.
ask your location in Chisholm?
We are 208 West Lake Street, right on the
Okay,
main
right on the main
street in
street,
Chisholm.
okay.
Yeah, so we're open weekly. The program is once a month, but you can come for produce and bread, and we don't want anybody to be without food during the holidays because it lands on a Thursday. We'll be closed. But yeah, we just encourage people, if you can't get there, to call and make an appointment. And I am pretty accommodating with what works with people's schedule. Yeah, that's a really good question.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Does your funding rely solely on donations and
Yep.
grants? And you said you're a 501c3, right?
Yeah, so Chisholm Food Shelf operates under the AEOA tax ID number, but we have our own board, and we raise our own funds. We pay them to be our fiscal agent, so it's up to me and the other board members to find ways to fundraise or just ask more people if they're willing. I have maybe 10 to 15 regular monthly donors. That probably covers basic utilities. So the last few years, we've needed to do more grant writing. We got CDBG funding for my salary. I am the paid employee. Everyone else is volunteer. And then that covers a portion of it. And the Northland Foundation has supported our operation budget. So it's the food budget that is really all over the place. So there's some state funding. We buy food from Second Harvest in Duluth and Jubilee. So with Second Harvest, when I do my monthly food order, it depends on the cost of the food. When there's grant funding available, the cost is down or $0. So there was 3 years ago some funding, so food expenses were really good because, like, really cheap for us because it didn't cost us very much to get because of that funding. I'm hoping that in the next year with some of the support that they've gotten recently that maybe we'll see a little relief. But it's an average food truck for me right now is $4,000 to $5,000. And that's a lot. It doesn't get us, it's about $1 a pound, actually, by the time it's said and done. We get, so TFAP is the Emergency Food Assistance Program. They give us the stuff that we don't choose. It's just based off of our operation, our numbers. So I get dried beans, dried fruit, canned fruit, nuts, meat, if it's available, canned vegetables. So that kind of alleviates the need to purchase those items for each area. But it just kind of depends on what's happening with the budget and everything, the government budget, what's available. This month was really good, so that helped. But yeah, so we buy our food through Second Harvest and Jubilee Foods, and then people can bring in donations. In November, I put out a plea to the community. I really needed help, and the community was amazing, Hibbing and Chisholm. But yeah, so we operate under AEOA's tax ID number, but we are our own nonprofit. And because of the membership that we pay for through Second Harvest, I have access to lower expense food. Yeah, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did, thank you.
Okay.
So just one last thing.
Yep.
So I'm hearing, we know for sure 30% are coming from our Hibbing residents that are coming there, probably more. That's what you know of. And your ask is for potentially a financial donation from the city towards the food shelf, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we're all on board. I'm not the sole decider, but I think we should help out a little.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And we can't make a decision in a working
Right.
session, but I
Yeah.
think, I think you have the consensus here that, what you do, again, the collaboration of supporting multiple communities, Hibbing included, is very important. So I thank you for your message tonight,
Yeah. Thank
and
you.
you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we move on to Ms. Solivanti, Mr. Story.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. A couple of weeks ago, we brought the request to do the resolution for the CDBG grant for the Phase 2 portion of the road for the, of New Haven Drive. And we changed that, the very easterly portion of that from straight through all the way to 39th Street West to a hammerhead around, with the turnaround by the future Masabi Manor and a bike path from there. And then you requested that we bring back the northerly routes of that revised Phase 2 back to you at a subsequent meeting, so we're doing that tonight. I've been working with city engineer, Mr. Story, on what those options are, and in front of you tonight, you have the two different options based on the right-of-way that the city has access to. And so the first option would be just to keep that connection at 6th Avenue West. And then the second option you can see is drawn in with the north going right by the future Masabi Manor and then turning west to connect up with 39th Street West. So I'll let Mr. Story talk about the cost of option 1 and option 2, and then we'll take some questions from you at that time.
So Mayor Council, option 1 up 6th Avenue West, looking at LHP's numbers, is about $8,000 to $10,000. It's just a curb and gutter radius turning into 6th Avenue West. The other option, option 2, so going north up 5th and then over to 39th Street, that's about $560,000 using LHB's numbers. That option 2 does not have curb and gutter, there's no sidewalk. It's just a subcut road, 24-foot bituminous road through there.
We would also need to secure the property that is right to the west of the parking lot of Masabi Manor as laid out on this parcel.
So with that purchase, you're right around $600,000 for that extension. Or we do, you know, the lot smaller cost to go up 6th Avenue West and do that connection. I don't think that, if you do the connection 6th Avenue West, I don't believe that traffic is gonna go into that neighborhood. I actually think traffic is gonna come out of that neighborhood and use New Haven Drive. It's gonna be a wide street, curb and gutter, out to 9th Avenue West. And I don't know if that was the worry at one point. But we just wanted you to know the numbers, what that would cost. And if you wanted to go the phase 2 route, then we have to have LHB do design there, do soil borings.
And right now, we do have LHB under contract for the current yellow that you see, adding on that additional northerly route on 5th Avenue West, and then that west route to 39th could add additional cost to that LHB estimate as well, because we have not had them do that design or any of that geotechnical work in that particular right-of-way.
What was our savings by not tying straight east onto 39th? We were gonna go, we had to put a culvert in, we had to do different things where the railroad grade was. What was our savings from just using 6th Avenue and removing that section? Because I know that just that going through that culvert was expensive.
Well, we had already removed the culvert in the $1.8 million estimate. If we just continued that road on to the 39th Street West, we had already removed the box culvert and we were doing an at-grade crossing. So it had been over 2.2 to 2.4 million to have that box culvert in. We removed that and got it down to the 1.8 million. And so we've reduced that a little bit further by taking that section of road out and replacing it with just the bike path.
And that was a full road with curbing and sidewalks, so that
Yep.
wasn't just a bituminous road, as you just mentioned,
Correct.
Mr. Story.
Correct.
Which would have been 5th Avenue and then tying into 39th on the west side. So that wasn't expensive, I think we had talked about doing away with the box culvert and just having the groomer go
At
over the
grade,
top. Yeah,
yep.
grade. But that still was a spendy amount. And
Yes.
you just mentioned that.
Yep. One other note is that we did work with the project and they have offset the drive to Cobb Cook Place from, it doesn't line up exactly with 6th Avenue West. So that would discourage traffic from utilizing that northerly route. It would be easier for them to come out and go west on New Haven out to 9th Avenue and go north. Because those roads are wider and more, traversable that way.
The quickest route is always gonna be to go down 6th Avenue West. I know where I live, it was never designed to be the through road, but since it's the quickest route, it is now the through road, right? So people will definitely come from Cobb Cook Place down 6th Avenue West. If it's the quickest, right, so the shortest, can we add stop signs on every stop in that section to make it slower to go through?
Sure. You can put,
I mean,
the city council has the right to add stop signs
Because
at all.
I would
those
think if there's
intersections.
at least stop signs, you're gonna then say, well, I have to stop twice before I can get through that neighborhood. I'm not gonna be going that fast, whereas I think that will also help deter some of the traffic.
Mr. Story, Sixth Avenue West is no different than the black route, the dark route that you showed there, because there's no curbing, there's no sidewalks, that's a narrow road too, through that whole region.
Correct,
It was never built to be a well-traveled road, it was more of a neighborhood road.
correct.
And my concern is anybody going down 37th Street, coming from Hibbing proper, L&M Supply, whatever it might be, and you live at Masaba or you live at Cobb Cook, they're gonna take 6th Avenue West. They're not gonna go down to 9th Avenue West and then back up. I mean, they're gonna take the shortest route if it can be done. So it wasn't my concern going the other way. It was more coming from Hibbing proper, what would be urban Hibbing to these locations. I guess that's why we didn't want it to go through those neighborhoods and why we wanted 39th to go straight out to First, but.
We did measure, just so you're aware, we measured, you know, the future Masabi Manor and all of those things. Remember, we have the ordinance that dead-end road can't be, you know, 600 feet
Yep.
or longer, those sorts of things. So that's why we need one other exit for the Masabi Manor residents. So that's why these two options are in front of you tonight.
Yeah,
Mayor, I'll agree with you. Our intent wasn't to increase traffic through all these residents that have been there, so I guess I have a little concern. I do believe people are gonna take Sixth Avenue West too, and that's gonna make obviously citizens upset in that area.
I guess I got lost a little bit. I thought this was the preferred route because we didn't want to have increased traffic in this neighborhood. I guess I missed it.
Mr. Story, can you give us the reason, you had come, there was something with 39th Street West, that why it couldn't connect?
Yeah, 39th Street, so there's only 33 feet of right-of-way on 39th. So the
Right.
blacktop is about 20 feet wide. So to accommodate all the traffic, because if you extended it through 39th to get from First Avenue to Lowe's, all that, you would use that.
Oh, absolutely, I
Yeah.
would, yep.
So to build that section, we'd have to buy right-of-way from those residents, and then the right-of-way would literally be at their doorstep, or right on the edge of a garage. So the way it's built right now, and only half the right-of-way, there's no way that we could accept any more traffic there.
And there's no way that Fifth Avenue West couldn't be a 20-foot wide road, just an access road for emergency out to 37th.
So all the way, so you're saying all the way through out to 37th Street?
Yes.
Because wasn't that company up there, weren't they?
Yes, so Jasper Engineering has approached us about the potential for an expansion a
Yeah.
little north of where this particular road is drawn at this time. And the request would then be to vacate that right-of-way in between where current Jasper Engineering is and that parcel that's next door that is also owned.
Well, north would be towards 37th Street, so when you said they want to expand north, you mean they
No,
want to
no,
expand
no, they're
west?
expanding west.
Yeah,
Jasper Engineering is a little north, the parcel is a little north of how
but
we
do
have this
we have a
drawn.
right-of-way all the way out to 37th?
Yep, it's a 33-foot right.
Right, so if all we needed was an emergency right-of-way, because I know when we talked about, when we were looking at Highland Hills, we were ending that one route and said, just so it could be an emergency route, so you had a place where
Right.
you'd plow it, but it wouldn't be a fancy road, just for emergency use only.
Yeah, you could make a 20-foot wide paved road, you could do 16-foot wide paved road, like an alleyway.
With that potential commercial expansion right there, that's why we've drawn it the way we've drawn it.
Right.
Because it would, not allow them to do that.
Well, what they'd have to do is work around our right-of-way, is what they'd have to do.
Well, that is a potential, but we would still have to purchase that property, part of it.
So we don't have a right-of-way from New Haven all the way to 37th?
We do, but to Mr. Story's point, the size of it, would probably require that we do some more work to,
Yeah, we'd be
Allow for
grading,
that.
just looking at quickly at the topo through there, we'd be grading outside of the right-of-way if we only had a 33-foot wide right-of-way. We'd run into this, kind of the same thing we had over on 39th Street.
right. So again, option one then is the 6th Avenue West, roughly about $10,000. And the other option that's drawn in there, option two, which goes north on 5th Avenue West and connects west to 39th Street West, would be roughly $600,000.
So financially, the Sixth Avenue West one is the only feasible option. And when we first started talking about this, was trying to keep that neighborhood separate. I mean, yeah, I understand 80,000 to 600 and 2 million are, I mean, three very different options as far as dollar figures. I guess if Sixth Avenue West is the only option, I mean, stop signs, speed bumps, I mean, just to keep that. I know people living out there aren't gonna be happy, like they didn't want them to be connected, so I guess that road would really have to be slow traffic somehow, in my mind.
Is there enough room to like make a buffer for the current residents there? Between that and the road?
No,
Where is it?
they're right
Where
up
is
to
it?
the road.
They're right up to
Yeah,
the
the
road?
residences are right up to the road. The houses are pretty close. It's lawn right to the road.
And Mayor, Council, we wouldn't make any width improvements to 6th Avenue West. We would keep it literally the same width it is right now.
That would be my last option, and I understand the cost is a factor, but we're looking, I still would like to see if there's any way we could make a Fifth Avenue West 20-foot wide, just emergency access, not a main road that would be used by residents. It wouldn't be even a one-way road, so it'd be for emergency only, but, because our biggest access here is emergency vehicles. That's our biggest issue
Well,
right now.
Correct, Mayor, Council. And if something happened to block off New Haven Drive and 6th Avenue is not available to residents, they need to have egress from Mesabi Manor.
Yeah, right.
So it's not necessarily just our fire vehicles, et cetera. It would be for all of those residents to access for egress if something happened.
You know, and I think I asked this at one point, and I understand the costs would be astronomically more than even these two projects, right? But going south out of that area is not a possibility. The city does own property all the way to 41st Street West, as well as, I think there is a tax forfeit one right next to our location, or it could be expanded. So I'm just assuming that between all of that purchase, cleanup of the ground, the creation of a really long road, that would also be exponentially more expensive.
Because that is, there's some topography issues on that parcel that's directly south of that. And also, that connects to the Superfund site and the groundwater plume. It's not cleaned up at this point. We don't know when the MPCA will secure funding. HPU is still working with their lawyer and the MPCA. So because this project, Cobb Cook Place is starting next year, and fingers crossed, Mesabi Manor will be approved at the MHFA board meeting tomorrow if all things go well. We don't have time for waiting around for the MPCA at this point to clean up those parcels and allow us to access them. So unfortunately, at this point, that would be much more costly.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I guess, I kind of like to hear what Jackie would like. What would be in your perfect world, not to put you on the spot, but you were part of this and worked on this as well, correct? So what are your thoughts?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know a lot about the road. I know initially we were going to go straight through, but is there any way that you could potentially use like that part of the railroad track to connect up there, or is that completely off the table? to connect back to the road?
It's actually what I'm looking at right here on the map,
Okay.
and I'm thinking the
Because I
exact
would
same
You
really
mean Third
love-
Avenue, come off Third?
Yeah, so you would have to kind of make a turn, but then it would keep us out of that neighborhood, potentially. I don't know if that's a possibility, but, you know, as I was looking at it, I mean,
What I look at, it'd be nice to find another alternative. In the meantime, it might be Sixth Avenue West has to be the answer, but I do see, I think, Jamie, what you're talking about is taking the turn, going to Third Avenue, so you don't go through on 39th, you would tie in Third Avenue, which is a wide enough street, correct, Jesse?
Yeah, Third Avenue,
Third Avenue West would be wide enough. If
Wide
we
enough.
made if you came just to that point, so that you would have to turn and go down Third Avenue West, not 39th Street.
you could go down 39th Street.
You could, but
Right,
we
you could-
wouldn't have to renovate that.
Yep.
But you're just taking a short piece of Third Avenue West and widening it, because that's a drainage area, and I think that's our property. You would take it from there and tie in.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have to upgrade Third Avenue West.
No, you wouldn't have to upgrade anything.
So does that tie into the railroad tracks, or what?
No, you go
where
over
are
the railroad tracks, you just
Okay,
come,
okay,
it's adjacent to the railroad tracks.
okay.
So you come
Yeah, you could block this off.
through here.
And just bring this.
There you go.
So with that one, we're just going from one neighborhood to another neighborhood?
Well,
Well,
yeah,
but the roads are built, for Third Avenue West is a wide, full road.
And Sixth Avenue isn't, is what you're saying then?
No,
I would think that we'd want to try to push the traffic out to 9th Avenue West.
yes, absolutely, that's what we wanted.
To 37th Street.
Yeah.
And Counselor Schreiber, you're exactly right. We're gonna, instead of pushing the traffic up here, we're gonna push the traffic over to Third Avenue West neighborhood, 39th Street, is what you're gonna do.
That's why I wish we could just get a right-of-way through to 37th on Fifth Avenue West, and would solve everything. It wouldn't affect any residences.
Can we also label it as emergency use only?
No
Well-
through traffic.
It'd be a public right of way. I mean, you could design it so it's narrow.
Yeah, and do emergency only.
Can you
it's not-
design, oh, sorry, Jim, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so it's not everybody's taking it. It's, I mean, somebody might, but risk.
Can it be a one-way?
You could leave it gravel. And not pave it.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. That's what you have there right now.
And add some
You
stop
drive part of
signs.
that,
We're talking to the west of Jasper Engineering.
yes.
So when the business comes then to ask about the expansion project, we'll tell them,
They'd have to show us what their expansion is, Betsy, so that
Yep,
we can
yep.
look at what they're doing.
absolutely agree with that. You know, there's always project, evaluation to do. But at this point, we do need to, we're getting ready to go bid this project. Is it early January, Jesse? That it'll be on the
Phase-
council agenda?
Phase 1,
Yep,
yeah, Phase 1, we have the bid documents, they've been ready.
Well,
It's gonna be early January.
I mean, the thing is, if we want Sixth Avenue West to start with, because we were gonna do
Yeah.
that anyways.
yep,
And
and
then
that's kind of what
if we
we're.
had to, it gives us time to look for funding and a different route if we needed to. And we could make that change then without interfering with the progress of this, because that would be any different what we were planning on doing anyways, correct?
Yeah, we're doing phase 1 all the way to Sixth Avenue. So as long as you
Yes.
let us do that connection at this point, just for, what we're doing for Cobb Cook Place. And I'm hearing from you that you don't like the current, you don't like that northerly route to go north on Fifth Avenue West and west then on 39th. You don't like that option too at this point? You would like us to keep looking for other
I
options?
think you
to
get
a-
costs on multiple options, and that being one too. But we know right now for Cobb Cook Place, we were gonna go with just a short stub on Sixth West, and then block it if we made a change, if we had gone through the 39th, which we're not gonna do. So, I think you quote the road as you have it drawn in yellow, and we address another way to approach this through this next year.
Yes,
Can somebody reiterate to me why we're not going all the way through?
to 39.
Yeah, or to Third West?
Well, 39th, we weren't gonna go all the way through because we had to
It's not big
potentially
enough. Yeah.
upgrade, the right-of-way's not there.
Yeah, but what about
Or
Third West?
we could go up Third West, but as Counselor Schreiber pointed out, we're just gonna be, I mean, you're moving traffic from here over to there. You know what I mean? So, because I would cut across, if I was using it, from First Avenue to anywhere on, by 9th West, I'd use that to cut across. The best thing is if we can get the traffic to 9th Avenue West. How do we get the traffic there? And use 9th Avenue, 37th Street.
And I'll make one other, I know they want two options for, there's no way we could put just a big loop that would alleviate the need of an additional road going off of New Haven Drive. You come to a T right now, you know, as long as, is there any way there could have just been a loop and not a turnaround or something, just a place if we have an issue for a fire truck to,
The point isn't the turning around, it's getting out.
okay.
We need
Yep.
an egress
We
from
need another
Wasabi
way
Manor if
out.
something is blocking New Haven Drive at some point.
Yeah,
They need to be able to egress, and Cop Cook as well, if it's blocking at the beginning of New Haven Drive, they need an egress. And,
but Sixth West could be an emergency
Right.
instead of just a through, that could be an emergency exit that's used just for emergency situations.
right, and that's, I mean, we could, that's what we're saying, is if we leave it with the $10,000 option, it's not improving that road, it's not adding, you know, additional improvements to encourage traffic to go north there. It's just going to continue it as a neighborhood road and mainly for egress, that sort of thing, if some, you know, something should happen that you can't get out to the west on New Haven Drive there.
Yeah.
They could go out to that north and east route.
Would
And
the-
then one other note, we're hoping that if we can have sort of a consensus or some kind of an idea, then when we bid out phase one, we could bid out phase 1 and 2 because we're hoping that the other phase of this project gets approved tomorrow.
Would dirt Fifth Avenue West suffice the needs of an egress, or does it have to be widened, or?
That would be, as long as you have, I believe the minimum is, I want to say 16 feet.
Yeah, right. It isn't that wide.
Yeah.
That would check the box, but Jasper wants to eliminate the north end of it to expand.
Correct.
Well, that's why.
At least that's what they've approached us about.
That's why I made a recommendation, we go with what you have in yellow, because that's what we were planning on doing before we would add on to this road anyways, which gives you what you need to move forward with these developments. That gives us a little time to look at these other options, and even to look at Jasper and see exactly what they plan on doing, how it would affect,
So, if I may, just to clarify, so then our phase 1 is only gonna go to Sixth Avenue, correct? Okay, good.
no, it would still go down
For phase
to,
1, we can't, well, then I have to expand my federal environmental
No, it
reviews.
is exactly what she said, that's what we're
Okay.
bidding out for phase 1.
Yes, because we have extensive federal environmentals, and I know that we'll be disturbing some soils on that end, which we haven't done, and that could slow down.
so right
all
now,
the
you
phase
just
ones.
want to go to
Stop at
Sixth Avenue West?
Yes,
Okay,
Yep,
but
that's where that
but your
demarcation-
Masaba
Yes,
Manor is
stop
gonna be
right
the
there.
next phase.
yeah,
Yeah, well, that's right, that's,
yeah.
I think that's what we're looking at, and that's why you needed Sixth Avenue West to be an opening at this time
Correct.
until we finish the project. So from Sixth Avenue West through to Masaba Manor, and what direction we go from there can be determined in the future,
Yes.
in the next year.
Well, and that's where, so we will be bidding out though, probably, we're looking at bidding both phases at the same time because we get favorable pricing.
We could, and that's right, we
But
could get better
separate.
prices.
Well, you could still
Separate
bid out
phases.
to the T,
Yep.
Yep,
and then we'd have to determine on the remainder, and if that was, hypothetically, if we went a Fifth Avenue West, 237th on a gravel road, you're not talking a lot of money. I mean, you do have some subcut and stuff, but
And that could be a separate project.
it would have to be a separate project.
Yeah, that's real, I'd like to see that one, when the time comes. Fifth Avenue straight to 37th Dirt Road.
Yeah, yeah. I
Minimal.
mean, use the six
Yeah.
to do what you gotta do, but
For
end
now.
game is that.
Yeah, once you can get that opened up, then block 6 off again.
So your answer to your question, you can bid what you want for phase 1 and 2 based on what you have there in yellow right now.
Well, I would definitely need to double check with my consultants on that, because I do have a worry that that would trigger the federal nexus of environmental
We
reviews.
won't do it unless we can, so you don't have to
Unless you
worry
do.
on your stuff. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
because if it's.
We
bid out
are
to the-
working in collaboration with you.
Good, okay, I just want to make
Yeah.
sure, because.
No, what you just asked for is we gave you the okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because we already originally had talked about Sixth Avenue West being a temporary
yeah,
access as this project was going on.
right. Yep.
So
All right.
I'll just say out loud, phase one, great, but if we have to bid out phase two stuff at any point in the combined those, I disagree with all the things that we just talked about. So I really do think that that road should go through. I don't think putting it on that tip is gonna do us any good. I don't think using Sixth is the right idea either. And I don't think people are gonna use that road extensively. If you look at where the dense population in Hibbing is, most people are gonna come from the north. They're not gonna come from densely populated area on the other side of that road. So they're gonna come off the highway, or they're gonna come down First Avenue, and they're gonna go up right where they always do now, and go to Ninth Avenue West. I just wanna voice that. I think if we're gonna talk about doing a road the right way, I don't think we should have dirt roads and block Sixth off and do all this other stuff. I think we should make a real road, so, in my opinion.
I think our only access issue was people getting to Cobb Cook Place and the Saba Manor, not going to any businesses over there. That was the concern.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, anyways, you got what you need. For-
Did you?
Jesse and I will go back and discuss and make sure that when we bring the bid pack, or the request to go out for bids in January, that it addresses what you've said today.
Well,
I think we'll
everything
probably
in
watch the
yellow, you
recording.
asked for everything in
Yeah.
yellow to be approved, and it was today. Or we talked that we would agree with that. We can't approve it because it's a
Yeah,
working session.
right, no,
but
yeah.
We agreed with what you have here in yellow.
Okay.
And then Jackie, are you gonna go back and talk with your folks, your people?
Yeah,
or- Yeah.
I'll have a further
Good.
conversation with Betsy and Jesse, just to make sure, because, as you know, the federal compliance is very
Yeah,
extensive.
well, whatever you have to do with,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
to
work
make
with
it
them.
Thank
fit.
you.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
all.
Okay.
All right, and good luck tomorrow. It'll be an exciting day tomorrow. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to number 3. Ordinance regarding cat regulations. Did everybody have an opportunity to look at the ordinance as Andy proposed it? And that was using some of the language from Grand Rapids, correct? Similar?
Yes, Alyssa, I really had crafted most of this, and she took a lot of the language from Grand Rapids, and I looked at their ordinance too, Mayor, so we're trying to kind of amalgamate this in. We already have a cat section
Yeah.
within our ordinances. This is just a new section, subdivision 5,
Right.
kind of directive as to what cats you'd pick up and which
Yes.
cats would not, yeah.
I thought the ordinance was good.
Yep.
It shows that we're not ignoring cats. Someone's pet, someone's lost, someone's injured, a cat needs help, we will help them. Just trying to give officers the discretion to not pick up matted stray cats that are basically wild animals. And you get them in shelters, then the shelters cannot adopt them because they are, and shelters in the area do have cats that have been there for years because they go out and they're mean and the people bring them back and they just get stuck with having cats for years. So I thought the ordinance did a good job of
Yeah.
spelling out what we want to do here to try to cut back the number that are brought in and what kind are brought in. Still help people's pets and injured animals sick or injured or a danger. Yeah, we're still going to do something, but I liked it.
Well, I think it did a great job of identifying feral and socialized cats, and it's worked for Grand Rapids. And I was, again, I'll say I was misquoted when I listened to the chief over there. They do cats, they do very few cats, and they work with Itasca County, which does very few cats. They do a few, but they don't do a lot because they follow this language. So a lot of cats that shouldn't be picked up aren't picked up in Itasca County or City of Grand Rapids. So I just think this fits our language much better in what we will pick up and what we won't. Any other comments on that? So are we looking to have that at our next meeting, Andy, or?
If it's good, we could try to get it posted. It just needs the 10 days
Okay.
posting, so I think we have enough timing if we get it out. Yeah. So
Okay.
Candy can coordinate getting it posted and
Yep.
take it up on the 7th.
All right, with that, we'll go to roundtable discussion. Okay, Steve? Andy?
I have one thing. I know that the president of the board of directors for the library had emailed all of you this letter. I just wanted to make sure that you knew. I know that a few of you were not here the last time that the number of members was brought up. I asked Tess to give me the excerpts from this and then just what it was that they were looking for. They would like to reduce the number of seats from 7 to 5, as it is too hard to get all of their members, barely a quorum at the last meeting, and they did have one person who hasn't come to the last 3 meetings. So, and within our ordinance, it does state that they can be removed.
So are you asking to have this revisited or
Correct.
just? Okay.
No, correct, because it's coming from the board.
They took action at their
Yes,
meeting,
they
correct?
did.
They-
Yep.
They voted to change their
Yep.
size, which would then put me to
Yeah.
agree with that.
Well, let's go to that on our next council meeting. I
Correct.
think that's what they're looking
Yep.
for. We don't make a decision till then,
Correct.
but,
Yep. But I just
All
want, so we'll have to post it,
yep,
the change to the ordinance.
all right.
Right. And Mayor, so the way that, when you had the previous vote, I think it was a 2-2.
Right.
That was a phased, though, scale down.
Correct.
Is this going to be immediately going to 5?
This will be immediately going to 5.
Okay, just so I know how to, I'm writing it the right.
Based on what I read, because of the change in the year, it sounded like.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Bayless?
No, the only thing I had, again, was that lead service line meeting.
Okay.
That's it.
Mr. Fossil?
I'm good.
Mr. Schweberger?
Yeah. So, I don't know, was Nick gonna talk about this? With everybody got the handout or the envelope, or who put them
Yeah,
out there?
everybody got one.
Oh, they were dropped off today.
Oh, okay. So, this message. So that Angel Hope Park was looking at Sargent. I think everybody's probably aware that there's some neighbors that are having an issue with it, more so because of what they've lived through, more so the constant reminder every day they go out of their house. So I would suggest that we look at potentially different spot for it. I mean, as large as Hibbing is, there's got to be, like, the intent of this whole project wasn't to make people feel bad, right? It's to cherish the losses and remember our loved ones. So if this is going to negatively affect anybody, I would suggest that we try to revisit where else we could have it.
I agree.
I agree.
I would
agree.
add on to what John had to say, because since I received that letter and an email a couple days ago, I didn't want to really discuss much about it till we had a chance, and I've looked at our parks, and personally, I felt Lebanon Park would work really well. It's by the schools. It's where people are, where there's a lot of activity. So it'd be very well noticed, and so I'm just thinking that Lebanon Park will never be developed for anything else. It's a great location, and it has visibility. That's the one thing you wouldn't have had at Sargent, is a lot of visibility to it, where now it will be visible to a lot of people who have kids. And so I'm just making that suggestion as they're looking for another location. And I think it'd be very well maintained. It's not a high vandal area. It's a nice area, and it wouldn't detract from that park.
Is that the one behind the Lincoln?
Right across from Lincoln, yep. As an option. I'm just throwing it out as an
Still
option.
back into a residential area, correct?
So,
So it could be the same,
well, I think
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
could.
you would ask that question.
Right,
Yes,
right.
you would talk to the residents.
Yeah, I think on this one, I think realistically moving forward, I mean, everybody would thought there would have been no issue with this happening, but I think moving forward that it might, if we're doing more of a centralized neighborhood that we're affecting residents, we should reach out to them, and then we can bypass
You have residents on 3 sites rather than 4, well, you kind of have it on 4. But, you know, that's where you asked, you get a survey of the homes adjacent, and you get that answer.
Right, and I totally agree with that, and I like what we're going to be doing in 2026. My only concern with that park is, that was a current school board that said, no, we don't want anything, we don't want that. But who's to say if there's a new school board that comes in and says, you know, we could really use that, because didn't we have that conversation with the school board? That was the park. So I just don't want to tie, you know, that particular area up in case there's a new school board that sees the value in doing something with the school district there. That's just a thought.
It's a thought.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a,
I
you
think
know,
on something like that, I would say first come, first serve. They, you know, they had their opportunity. We're not gonna hold on
I know
to
you're
this.
very,
You know,
I hear you, I hear you.
there's always gonna be
Yeah.
a what if thing, a what if factor.
Right, right. But I do think that we should revisit
Yeah.
that.
I just looked at, when I looked at all the parks, knowing the parks like I did, it's visible, it's accessible, and we have no vandalism or any of those types of issues in that area, in that park over the years,
Yeah.
trees being broke or anything like that, so.
And I do know the funding that they're getting for it isn't tied to a specific area, it's
Yeah.
tied to the project, so if we can.
All right,
I do wanna-
communication.
Can I mention one thing? Remember, going back to the conversation with the school board about divesting of that property, remember we found out that we don't actually hold title to that property?
That's
Yeah,
right.
I think that's the parcel.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So that may or may not be an option.
Yeah, they would have to
I mean,
look
we
into
would
that
be-
option and who
We
has
would be
the title.
allowing a third
Yeah.
party to build on a piece of property we don't own.
Well, that would be,
We've done things like
they
that.
would have to jump to in a communication component that they would have to take care of if they chose to do that.
Mayor, I chime in on that one since Nick is still asking me to convince the entity to deed that property to the city, or the city potentially take action under an adverse possession theory to say, since we've maintained it for 80 years, maybe it should be ours, that type of thing.
Okay.
So
So my,
it's still on my projects to work on from
All
that
right.
standpoint to it.
my thought would be we reach out to the group, the Light After Loss group. Hey, we're well aware what's kind of going on. Let's start discussing options. We could talk about this on high level as far as this could be an option, but we've got some boxes to check, if you will. See if they have any ideas on where they would be comfortable with. I think we should get some additional feedback from them. And then my thought would be, when we do decide on a new location, maybe they go door to door to the
Yeah,
neighbors.
they
I
should.
think that would be a really good
It's their
like,
project.
public outreach.
Right.
That's my thought in a way, so.
So if we're, I want to throw something out there super crazy, but if we have suggestions for locations, I mean, might require actual council action. I have somewhat of a suggestion or maybe just an idea to throw around. It's probably a really bad one, but I live right in Sargent Addition. This is one of my neighbors that has some concern with this location. And I want to respect that if we can. I do have the other loop there where the Frank Hibbing statue is. I don't know if anybody else has ever thought this, but I've always thought that statue should be at City Hall. We have a monument out here, we have a fountain that we don't know what to do with. We could repurpose that spot to leave the bricks, put Frank Hibbing statue there, and put this monument where that Frank Hibbing statue is.
I think that's being
It's got benches there, it's got nice trees, it's in a very similar area, it's not far from where they're trying to be. And it would definitely not impose on the person who has reservations about the project right there on 10th East.
Well, then, I think communicating with the group, and seeing what their thoughts are, you know, see what their options, what they would be interested in. It's just in our job to say yes,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
but they would need, as Mr. Krasinski said, it would be up to that group to approach the homeowners in those areas. And we're not trying to add additional costs to doing anything.
Right.
That's, I mean, simply, you could put both on Frank Hibbing Park for Craig's sake. But let them do the footwork, the communication, and say, we got the okay to go here. and then we can move forward with support.
I think it would be nice also, you're talking about meeting with that group, right, what you had said. Maybe if we can come up with a few different locations or a few different options rather than, you know, like, how this one happened was like, well, not here, but how about here? So if we have a little variety to weigh out.
I concur. Something for them to react to and
Yeah,
kind
and
of
you
run
could
through
have
there.
you could have one, you know, say that Sergeant Park option, if we did ever get it, you could have Kerry Lake, you know, just whatever type of environment they're looking to have it, just have a few options if possible.
All right, anything else? I don't have anything else.
So,
Oh.
We're still on John, yeah.
yeah, I'm making up for the whole year right here.
Okay.
So do we already voted yes to give this park to them, right? So do we have to, on our next meeting, do we have to rescind it? If that's what we want to do?
So maybe, I don't recall exactly what we did do. We'll just have to do a
Let's
little.
research it.
We'll do a little
Yeah.
background. Likely what we would do, Counselor, is if there was some sort of city council action, we would just do it all kind of at once.
Yeah,
Unless you prefer us to tie up the loose end on the Sergeant Park so the neighbors can rest assured, if that's your preference, we can do that. Otherwise, we would just do it all at
I
once.
mean, if we have a consensus that we're not gonna go there, I think, I'd spoken with her today, so we can probably relay the message that,
yeah, I think you do that.
that we're respecting.
Yep, it's not official, but it will be. It's just discussion purpose tonight.
Okay, I'm good.
All right,
Thank you, John.
Counselor,
I'm happy, I don't have anything.
I like that.
I know, surprise, right?
Counselor Whitney?
One quick thing, if we're gonna continue working with Precious Paws, that contract needs to be renewed.
Correct.
So they brought that to my attention, that action needs, they want to keep working with us and helping Alyssa until we figure out the permanent solution to that, but they said that needs attention, so it needs to be renewed.
Sure. I think I can just go through Joe Keys, isn't he the one who put it together, or was it Carrie? Or both?
Both, probably.
Thank you.
Counselor Hildebrand?
I'm good.
Mr. Story?
I apologize, I got a few things. So a couple updates, sorry, Andy. 41st Street, we are applying for that EDA grant. That'll be Friday. That was a very long process for that grant. Partnering with MnDOT on that, they're a co-applicant. We should have had the plans today for the ditching. I emailed Paul Tokarczyk during the meeting from BAR, and I see where those plans are at for review. Public safety building, we have a number of change orders that we'll be bringing to the city council meeting on the 7th. We'll have a rep from A&P here to go over all those change orders. Few of them are, there were some footings on the county building that had a 6-foot step in the existing footing that wasn't on any existing drawings. So that's a change. We have unsuitable soils, contaminated soils, and just a project this big, you got minor changes on certain things. So we'll be bringing that to council at the first meeting in January with an update on the project, probably a slideshow with some pictures. Sidewalk snow removal. So we have 9 city-owned properties that are not occupied by the city. So they're vacant lots, parking lots, stunts garage. So met with city services today and Public Works. We have a plan to remove the snow along these sidewalks. Moving forward, we did the 400 block, I believe, on Monday. It's hard to schedule all this because we don't have the equipment in Public Works to do sidewalk snow removal. So we're scheduling with Nick, the parking lots, the one by Sammy's, the one behind Boomtown, MDI, and the bowling alley. We can get the snow off the sidewalk with the loader, and then along 19th, it'll be with the broom from City Hall. So we do have a plan for that. Snow plowing, so if you notice, we made a few changes on what we pull to the center. Reason being is looking at efficiencies throughout the department. We were pulling many miles of snow, and it got to the point where we couldn't pick all the snow up that was in the middle before we get another snow event. And with the prices of equipment, we just need to, we're looking at the core area around the schools, the downtown district.
City Hall, yeah.
Between 19th, 21st, City Hall, where there's no boulevards. So we're looking at changing those roads. We did that the last few snow events. We'd like to maybe change the ordinance. So under the ordinance, it has priority 1 streets pulled to the center, priority 1 streets plowed to the outside. So we'd like to change that just to say priority 1 streets. So all the streets are priorities, but if we get 2 feet of snow, it changes how we plow if we get 6 inches of snow. So we don't want to be handcuffed to this is what we have to do and exactly how we have to do it, just because the time it takes to pull it to the center versus winging it out to the side, and when you get time, 2 weeks later, you can come pick it up. So we'd like to maybe change that ordinance and just remove the pulled to center and just have priority streets. If
So
you
you'll
guys
have
are-
that documented, Jesse, where you're gonna do what you're doing?
Yeah, so right now, I created a map, went and drove everything that we pull, met with Public Works, had a few meetings with the city administrator on what we pull and where we do the pulling. And we've been doing that the last couple, and we didn't get a big snow event. I mean,
Yeah,
I
we
think the
haven't
first
yet.
one, we had 5 inches.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't a test on what's gonna happen when we do this.
Okay.
So it's kind of work in progress, but the amount of lane miles we pull, it's just way too much for the size of city we have and all the roads we have to plow, and pulling that many miles, it just is not working out. It's too much.
Okay.
So,
All right.
any questions on the snow plowing?
Yes, because I forgot to ask it when it was my turn. Sorry. We discussed this a couple of times over the last couple of years. I got phone calls Monday morning when we have equipment on Howard Street at 7:45 in the morning,
Okay.
pulling snow, and I watched them drive right from the service center, right up Howard Street from the highway, and I saw them coming, and I'm like, oh, I bet you they're going to clog up Howard Street, and it wasn't 5 minutes later, my phone rang. Why are these people on between 9th and 10th Avenue by the high school at 7:45 in the morning?
Yeah, what they're supposed to do is between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock,
Yeah,
not around the schools, not downtown.
okay.
So I'm
That was
glad you,
not accomplished Monday.
I'm glad you told me that, thank you. That was on this past Monday?
Yes.
Okay,
I just had a quick comment or a quick question.
yep.
Back to the 41st Street. Are we making sure that, as we get some updates on that, we're keeping the citizens in that area?
Yes.
Yes,
Communicated to?
Yep.
Yeah, good.
yep. We've been talking with them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check whether that was, it's been a long week, whether it was this Monday or the last one. When did we get all that snow?
The last one.
It was last week, so it was Monday of last week.
Monday of last week?
It was last week, let's
Because
just
they
say
came
that.
So
out,
the
some of
8th
them came out early on Monday.
Yeah, so we came out, that Monday we came out early, which is fine, and we pull everything at 3 o'clock, and we try to get everything on Howard and First Avenue picked up before 7 o'clock. But if they don't get everything picked up, you go elsewhere until
Yeah.
8:30, 9 o'clock.
Right.
And I'm glad you told me that, I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
On the 41st, can I respond? We have been keeping people informed, but it is probably time to do that again. I know I talked to Renee probably the whole end of last week. Remember, she had a dumpster and whatnot, but I will loop back though, so thank you for that reminder. And remember, there's the ditch cleaning, but there's also the relining and some valve work. So now that the ditch cleaning is geared up and ready, we'll start addressing the relining and valve work.
Yep, and we're in that area for our sewer lining project for the mains. We're doing that area next year. So one of our technicians was out, I believe last week, it was when it was snowing. He was measuring invert depths of manholes and getting that plan together. So we'll line all of that next summer.
Do you have anything that runs across, we're talking 41st, right?
Yep.
Do you have anything that runs north from there, like would go right across the roundabout by the Chrysler Center?
Sewer,
Anything? Because we're gonna be,
Yes.
utility's gonna be in there next year.
we do have a sewer main that crosses, I think it's west of the roundabout.
Okay, will you just touch with Luke?
Yep.
Or even, you know, whoever Luke wants you to talk to on that, because I
Okay.
know we're gonna be in the ground there. We just approved a project for that water main to go north that
Okay,
we're working on from that Geisinger project. We're gonna
Yep.
go north with it now, so.
okay, yeah, I can check on that. That's all I got. Thank you.
Sheena?
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Borley?
Mayor, at your next council meeting, you'll probably see at least 3 more blight type situations coming forward. At the blight meeting we had last Thursday, there was at least 3 other properties they discussed. One of them was actually further ahead in the process than I could remember. That's the Lewis property in Kelly Lake. So that actually has a court hearing, I believe, in late January, because we just got the date today. But you'll probably see at least 3 more blight resolutions to come before you. I don't think so. That's the last I checked. You have to talk to Mr. Green as to how they're doing.
All right, well, with that, we'll be closing, and on behalf of the mayor and the city council, I want to thank city staff for the great job of providing great service for our taxpayers this year. So, amen.
You need a motion and a second to go into closed
Oh,
session.
we do have to go into closed session for administrative review, and I need a motion to go into closed session.
moved.
So moved by Councilor Bayless. Support. Oh, yeah, Schweberger was faster. Supported by Councilor Schweberger. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.